In a bustling city where everyone seemed to be in a race against time, there was an old train station that most people had forgotten. Trains still passed through, but no one ever paid attention to the station itself, except for an elderly man named Felix. Every evening, he sat on the same bench at platform 7, watching the world move around him. One chilly autumn afternoon, a young woman named Lila rushed into the station, breathless. She had just missed her train. Frustrated, she plopped down onto the bench next to Felix, rubbing her temples. "Just my luck," she muttered. Felix smiled gently. "Missed a train, did you?" She sighed. "Not just a train. A job interview. Maybe even my last chance to get out of this city." Felix nodded, his eyes twinkling with something unspoken. "Funny thing about trains," he said. "People always think missing one is the end of the journey, but sometimes it's just the universe making room for a better route." Lila scoffed. "That's easy to say when you're not the one missing it." Felix chuckled. "You'd be surprised how many trains I've missed, and every single time it led me somewhere I never expected." Lila, intrigued despite herself, turned to face him. "Like where?" Felix looked toward the tracks, his expression distant. "Once, many years ago, I was supposed to take a train out of this city, just like you. A dream job, a new life. But I got delayed. Stuck in a bookstore, of all places. Missed my train by minutes." He paused, smiling. "And in that bookstore, I met a woman. She had missed her train too. We talked for hours. That woman became my wife." Lila blinked, speechless. Felix sighed. "I never took that job. I stayed. And you know what? I built a life far greater than the one I thought I was running toward." Lila stared at the empty tracks, Felix's words sinking in. Maybe, just maybe, missing her train wasn't a disaster. Maybe it was an opening. A new train pulled in. Felix stood up, stretching his arms. "Well, my train's here," he said. "Remember, sometimes the trains we miss are just as important as the ones we catch." Lila smiled for the first time that day. "Thank you, Felix." He tipped his hat. "Safe travels, young lady." She watched as he boarded the train, still lost in thought. When she finally got up, she made a decision, one she wouldn't have considered before. Instead of taking the next train out, she walked out of the station and into the city, ready to see what else the world had planned for her. Sometimes, what feels like a setback is just a detour leading to something greater. So the next time you miss your train, ask yourself, what opportunity might be waiting in its place?